trust Ferguson Roof Systems to replace your roof, we go the extra mile to protect your home and property. On every job, we deploy durable netting to protect your home's exterior and landscaping. It's just one more reason why you should call Ferguson Roof Systems today.
All right, we are in business. All right, got that loaded up. All right, thanks for joining me, guys. This time to talk about the forecast here for the rest of this afternoon. We're looking at the severe weather outlook, see if that's shifted in any direction. How much of Oklahoma does it include? How much of North Texas it includes? A threat still for tornadoes, all that kind of stuff. Are we still getting some hail, et cetera, et cetera? Cindy's in the house with some stars. Thank you, Cindy. Again, let's see, you guys, thanks for joining me on YouTube, on Twitter, and on Rumble, and then, of course, on Facebook. And if you're getting late notifications or not any notifications at all when I do go live, you can click the opt-in for the weather updates that I post just about every broadcast. That way you won't miss out on any of the information. This is going to be, of course, a short and sweet one because it is my lunch break, so I've got to get crack-a-lacking with the information. So we're going to jump right on into it. So if you haven't noticed out there, it's pretty chilly here in Oklahoma City. I've got 50 degrees here at my Tempest weather station. So we're going to be on the cold side of this event for the storm situation, which is a little different sometimes than we usually are here in Oklahoma. If we do look at the state right now, the numbers on the map are the dew point numbers. And again, dew point measure, thank you, Tabitha, is a raw measure of moisture in the atmosphere. So if you have low dew point values, you can't really get really good surface-based severe storms. And so we really need kind of like around 60 to put this in reference for a tornado type situation. And we're into the 30s here in central Oklahoma. There's 40s and 50s though when you head down toward the Red River. And on the east side of this little surface trough axis, this little inverted trough we call it, with a southeast wind out ahead of it, a northeast wind on this side of it. In other words, almost like a pseudo cold front or a pseudo warm front, however you want to look at it. These numbers aren't nearly as abrupt as this one, and you do have some thunderstorms that did work their way into into the Tulsa area, northwestern Arkansas. These were elevated thunderstorms. They might have had some pea-sized hail with them. Looks like a severe thunderstorm warning here for northwest Arkansas. So it's probably got some probably up to quarter-size hail with that one. And that'll be the trend as we go throughout the afternoon. As we look down here and across Red River into Texas, here is where a surface low and the frontal boundaries lie right now. And so we're starting to get more development kind of along this zone of inclement weather. And so we're going to be seeing more thunderstorms develop here shortly across this region of Texas and work their way in to southern and southeastern Oklahoma. Temperatures out there across the state, like we mentioned, are going to be the cold side here for today, especially up across the central and northern and western Oklahoma to the 40s and 50s out there right now, where all the true instability and moisture is going to be kind of on that line. Remember how last night, and then even the night before, I kind of told you from Ardmore, like McAllister to Fort Smith, was kind of like my favorite zone for a potential tornado. You can kind of see why, right? Because this is where you get your warmest temperatures down here and also your highest dew points. Okay, so the Weather Service has outlined this for you. Tornado potential is medium when you get down here to the Durant area and points south and east. Otherwise, a slight risk of severe storms all the way up to almost to Norman here and around the Pauls Valley area. Just a marginal risk here in Oklahoma City for some possible hail. Any of those storms that do work their way in here. Baseball-size hail, big potential down here in southern and southeastern Oklahoma. Damaging winds, of course. And that's how that kind of lays out. We do look at the tornado potential. There it is down around Durant along the Red River. But there still is potential for one a little bit more north from there. If we do look at the timing on this, it's basically from 2 to 10 p.m. is a pretty large window. Dependent on warm front placement, as the Weather Service says. But that, again, I kind of like that favorite area from Ardmore, kind of near Durant, and then back up toward McAllister, and then along and south of that region. Tornadoes hail the size of baseballs and damaging winds. And then Tulsa, same kind of area for you. You're in just the general region or marginal region of thunderstorm activity that would be severe, and that's mainly, again, for some elevated hail. Otherwise, as we head into far southern Oklahoma from around McAllister and then point south from there, that enhanced comes in there, and even a moderate risk. It barely clips the far southeastern tip of the state. So McCurtain County, LaFleur, you got Hugo, all you guys down there are under the gun for some stronger thunderstorms for today. Timing on that from 2 to 10 o'clock again in that favored zone. Of course, we've already had some stuff here in this part of the state and also in this part of Arkansas. So that is the setup, and that is the timing from the Storm Prediction Center. They have shifted the bullseye of the moderate risk, and they have now included all of the greater Dallas-Fort Worth metro area, which I talked about last night. yesterday that would be a area for some strong and significant tornadoes. And we showed you some of the forecast soundings for that. So the data continued to go that direction. So the Storm Prediction Center relocated that zone. And they also did that. So if we look at that, here is where they kind of did the tornado risk. So they kind of cover a large area, though, pretty much all of the 2/3 of Arkansas. Back here, and again, all of North Texas, a clip of southeastern Oklahoma. This is the most favored zone. Doesn't mean you won't get them here in these areas. It's just the probability-wise, it's in that shaded area of significance. And of course, it does come with a little bit of hail in that area there for right over Dallas-Fort Worth, centered over that region. And same thing for the purple area for some damaging winds. Bottom line is, the more colors you see on the map, the more of your avocado has more flare to it. You don't want to be in the middle of a flare. You don't ever want to be in an avocado when it comes to these outlooks. All right, here's a look at the upper levels of the atmosphere. So we do have the upper level system that has centered itself here across western Texas this evening. Now, big change. Prior model data had it about this position. This is huge because this takes a lot of the severe weather magnitude out of Oklahoma in general. So that's why everything kind of shifted more to the south and east of the last few runs. But it also slows things down, which means there's a lot more to go for this region of Texas with kind of a weak cap in place. So it'll be a little longer event. It's basically the main deal with that. You still have a nice split flow aloft in the jet stream pattern. In other words, the winds diverge across this area, which means a lot of lift in this zone to get those enhanced cloud tops to get going and the strong thunderstorms. If you do look at the vertical lift in the atmosphere, we got a ton of it firing up here across the I-35 corridor from Oklahoma City, points down to the south by the time we head to the 5 and 6 o'clock hour. So we should have a ton of thunderstorms developing by then. There's just lift all over the place, though, elsewhere. So there still will be other thunderstorms get going. That right there is just the strongest signal in the data. And when we look at the amount of instability that comes in, if you do go through time here this afternoon, you can see how these CAPE values do sneak in here to this corridor. We've got values up here around 2 to 2,500 joules, which is plenty, by the way, for severe storms and tornadoes. You don't have to have them that high. We also have some pretty decent shear in place as well. I'm just going to just pick a point there on the map. I think I picked Rockwall County. Just kind of show you what the potential hazard type is, which is a tornado, really decent shear, decent hodograph, no cap, really good instability with this, and potential outcome of an EF3 on the strength of tornado from this just one point in time, on this just one point location. And it's a similar atmosphere all across that area. If I were to switch to a different high-resolution model, let me see what that one did. I think it's going to be the same idea. Yeah, there it is. So again, southeast Oklahoma, North Texas seems to be the favored zone. And we're going to look at some more soundings here in a minute. And the reason for that is the deeper moisture. So if you look at the dew point values in the purple right here, and then the dark green, it's kind of a bluish green aqua color, where you get those 60s, that's where you really need for that good instability. So as we go through time here, for the afternoon, for those storms that develop in southern Oklahoma, they only have 50s to work with. So again, we're talking mainly hail in this zone. It's when you get into this zone is when you get the potential for a tornado. And of course, they already have a mixture of all the types here in this zone and in this zone, and even down here in this zone. So that's where all the deeper moisture lies for the rest of today and tonight. All right, so let's get through the timing on this stuff. Let's take a look at a couple of the high resolution model outputs to get you kind of an idea. So we already had that little burst of showers and thunderstorms that rolled through northeast Oklahoma this morning. And then here comes that secondary round. It kind of blows up here between 3 o'clock, so 2 to 3 o'clock. You see how they kind of develop from North Texas. And they do cross over the Red River. So this is where you have some nice thunderstorms going down I-35. Just clip the Oklahoma City metro area. There's 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. There's kind of all over the place here. Saturated in southeast Oklahoma. More to come through 6 and 7 and 8 and 9. That's a lot of rain, all right? A lot of heavy rain. We're going to show you the rainfall totals here in a second. But anyway, that's going to continue to go through about the 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning hour before it starts to wrap up here in central Oklahoma. Continues to go in Tulsa through 8. Now, I will tell you this, because the track has changed and the outcome is coming out a little bit different with the upper level low, the models drop the idea of it being cold enough here briefly for a little bit of snow. So it looks like that's not going to happen unless something does a dramatic push back the other direction. So that'll have to be removed from the forecast. It just doesn't look as likely. All right, so we're looking at a couple different models here as well across North Texas. These are two of our best ones. So the first one, again, shows these clusters of thunderstorms there into North Texas, Red River. There's additional thunderstorm activity coming to Dallas-Fort Worth around 7, kind of a squall line type appearance. That rapidly races off to the midnight hour east of Tyler and up towards Shreveport and Texarkana. through 1 o'clock in the morning, etc., with some wraparound like so. So we're going to go look at another resolution model that's going to kind of indicate more of a supercell type structure with some of these, and that kind of favored this look over the other one. But here's 2 and 3 o'clock in the afternoon, for example. So you see these supercell looking type storms moving through the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And as we talked about here, I'll just click a point on the map. Potential for these storms, even at this time at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, is for a tornado. There's no cap in place. There's plenty of cape. Hail size, of course, will be significant, even though it doesn't show on this chart. And, of course, significant on the supercell side with a pretty strong potential tornado. Again, that's early in the afternoon, so it's not necessarily a late day deal like a lot of our severe weather events are. But there's 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. You see there's still plenty of storms peppered in. Like here's one for southeast Oklahoma. It's got a little bit of a helicity track with it. And again, we're in the potential for a tornado down there as well, so we'll have to watch southeast Oklahoma. There's 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock for you guys down in Dallas-Fort Worth. Your final back line starts to come in toward the metro area. And as usual, we'll just see what the atmosphere looks like, and it's still holding up for a tornado hazard down there. We finally got a significant hail analog out of it. That's 4.25 inches. So you got grapefruit-sized hail as a potential with these thunderstorms down here in Dallas-Fort Worth. So you guys got a whole mess to work with. Hopefully your local forecasters warned you, tipped you off of this the last couple of days. If not, find a new forecaster. You can join me. I'll let you know. But if you see here, more tracks down here from that area down south to Austin, even towards San Antonio. Again, by 8, 9 o'clock, that's all east toward the Tyler area. And then by 10 o'clock, 11, you still have some activity that kind of works its way into the border of Louisiana and southwestern Arkansas. And then some wraparound that goes in through 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning. Some additional rainfall. If you do look at the tech model, I want to show you it also has plenty of helicity tracks here in the mid to late afternoon with some of these thunderstorms. So again, North Texas seems to be the favorite area for tornadic potential and some very large hail. Then you have those secondary line that comes in right there through the Dallas-Fort Worth area around the 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock hour. Again, a lot of those helicity tracks extend all the way down to Austin and San Antonio. Now further down south, you have more potential for some hail. Up more north, more tornadoes in that environment. That goes through Tyler area, Longview, Shreveport, but the trend here, you see how quickly they weaken? We talked about this last night. Once you get past midnight, everything starts to fall apart. Finally, one last little look here. This is hot off the presses. I hadn't even seen this yet. So this is our experimental model. Let's see here. Same idea. Blows them up here across North Texas, mid-afternoon, across Red River, southeast Oklahoma. There's some little baby helicity tracks within that. More storms just west of Dallas-Fort Worth. So it looks like a very busy afternoon. Any way you slice it. I could look at more data till we're all blue in the face, but it's pretty much all going to be the same. If we look at temperatures today, like I talked about, we're going to be in the cold side. So for us, in the 40s across most of central, northwestern Oklahoma. The warm stuff way down south, southeast. And as we head into tonight, we'll bound into the 30s. But again, if we're cooling down around 38, that's just a couple of degrees too warm for snow. So there's some 36s in here. So I guess in theory, at 6 o'clock in the morning, if there's any significant rainfall left over out here, you might have a few wet snowflakes mixed in. But outside of that, I think the model's warmed it up just a couple of degrees too much, and then vamoose, it's gone. We will warm you up, though, Friday afternoon into the 50s and 60s statewide. So it should be a pretty nice day. All right, now the rainfall. That we have to talk about as well. Didn't mention this last night, and I should have, but I forgot to load it up because there's going to be a lot of rain. We're talking bukus, so 2 to 3, maybe even 4+ inches of rain in isolated spots out here in southeast Oklahoma. So there's a flood watch in effect. Matter of fact, this model likes 5 inches near McAllister. Now they won't get the bullseye exact. It'll be moving around a little bit, but the point is the take home is there's a lot of rain across North Texas, Northeast Texas, and the eastern, let's say the eastern, third of Oklahoma. So here's I-44, kind of goes like this. So yeah, not a whole lot out here. But it's all anchored along this boundary because it's closer to the surface boundaries and the track of the upper level low. So watch out for some flash flooding. It actually kills more people than these other weather-related phenomenons because it's just not taken too serious. And you just don't kind of pay attention, right? Because if the road's covered in water, you don't know if it's been washed out, etc. All right, here's a look at the potential for snow. It's gone. You don't see it there, do you? But keep hope alive, snow lovers. We looked at the European model last night for fun because the European is hinting at a winter storm for next week for that Thursday, Friday time frame with more Arctic air coming in here. And last night, if you remember, it had a huge snowstorm for central Texas. I mean, bullseye right here, about a foot of snow. So look what it did. It shoved it back to the west. Now the bullseye is out here, and now it trails up to a good part of Oklahoma. So the point is, this is all going to move around. But we do have the signal is there, and we'll fine tune it over the couple of days. But this, needless to say, it looks like we do have some snow in our future. If I were to look at the ice accumulation, there is a signal, yes, for a little bit of ice in here. So it's a classic winter storm versus like a pure ice storm or something like that. And I haven't spent a whole lot of time on it because obviously I'm a little preoccupied with the current situation. But I'll look at this more detail as we head in and give you more updates over the weekend and into early next week as the outcome of that. So temperatures in the extended on this output of a model blend, just to let you know, are probably going to be way off. I mean, they're going to be down into the 30s, all right, and maybe in some 20s. So keep that in mind that this forecast will not verify this far out. But in the short term, it's pretty decent. The model's doing an all right job from the 50s, 60s to 70s. So a lot of part of our weekend looks really, really nice. All right, I know that was a ton of stuff I just threw at you. So Ada is not good. You're going to have some hail down there, and you're just on the northern fringe of a tornado. Yeah, Craig, you guys will be in the wild ride down there in that part of the state of Texas. Let me look at a couple of your comments. What time is it? I got literally 2 or 3 minutes left. And then I got to sign off. Let's see here. Okay, so I'll just take through your comments real quick on YouTube and on Facebook. I think I pretty much covered everything I could think of that would affect all of you guys. Didn't look stormy, Julie. They're in the zone for tornadoes and hail all afternoon and evening. Keep that in mind. Let's see. Yeah, Violet, you never want to be in the avocado. I think I'm going to quote that. The first time I've ever said that. Roger, thank you for the stars, by the way. Yes, this is today for afternoon. Shelby, thank you for the stars. Appreciate you guys. Good to see you jumping on here at lunchtime to join us. And Tabitha, thank you as well. All right, so listen, I'm going to get out of here. I'm running out of time as well. I get back to my job because I know you guys get back to yours. So thanks for stopping by. Make sure you like and share this video. Make sure you tell your friends and family that live in the area we talked about to download my weather app, AT's Weather to Go. It's free on Apple and Google Play. And make sure they check in with me when I do broadcast live this afternoon. It'll probably be later. So if there's some storms going up that's tornadic, I don't know if I can cover the first round. We'll have to see how my work schedule is. But definitely by 5 o'clock, I should be able to get on and cover it through the rest of the evening hours down there to North Texas. So if that's the case, we'll be covering the Dallas-Fort Worth area and points east from there. It looks pretty significant. We could see a few strong to violent tornadoes today in that area. So those are the kind that you really got to watch out for. All right, you guys have been good. As always, seek shelter at the lowest level of your place, your dwelling, if it's an office building or if it's your home, away from all outside walls and windows. And that's the key when it comes to tornadoes. All right, we'll talk again soon. You guys be careful. Take care. We'll see you later.